brought to you by Olin Breweries and the Maritime Harness Racing Track Operators. And now, here's your host, Howie Trainer.
Hi, welcome back to At the Track. We have a very interesting show today. We'll go behind the scenes and show you how a judge's stand operates. Our track tour today goes down to Cape Breton for Tartan Downs. And our race of the week comes from Charlottetown Driving Park. All that and much more in a moment. Judge and his two associates are multifold at a racetrack, and there's a lot more going on than what you see when the objection or the photo or the inquiry signs are up on the tote board. We took a look at the operation of a judge's stand when Colleen Jones visited Sackville Downs and talked with the judges.
For the average fan at the track watching the race, their main concern is, did their horse win, place, or show?
What's that one? Oh, well.
Once one race is finished, they move on to the next race. While the fan is very knowledgeable about the actual race itself, they're rather unaware of what goes on behind the scenes. Perched above the grandstand parallel to the finish line is the judges' booth. The judges have a bird's eye view of the race and they watch everything like a hawk. There are 3 judges in the booth, the presiding judge and 2 associate judges. They call the order of the finish.
4-2, 1-3. Number 3.
Then they double check this with the photo finish.
Number 8 was 6. Number 7 was 7. Number 9 was 8. Number 1 was 9. A win and a show photo, please.
In addition to this, they look for any infractions or rule violations that may occur during the course of the race.
During the race, you look for infractions of interference, breaking horses, and things of that nature.
Generally, all the races run smoothly and cleanly, but every now and then an infraction does occur. A driver protests another driver. Both cases are heard. Then the judges go to the videotape of the race and examine things over and over again. They have 2 camera angles to view, the front angle of the race and the back view, so it's hard to sneak anything by them. When there is a protest, they make their decisions within minutes of the completion of the race.
First thing we do is put a light up on the board to let people know that there may be some infraction occurred during the race. And that way they hold all their tickets till we determine if there was or not.
There are 2 other people who are in the judges' booth. One of them is Kevin Connors. He's the representative from the Department of Agriculture. He's there to enforce even more rules and to be more or less the eyes and ears for the public. It's his job to make sure all the horses get a fair start. And once the race has started, he locks the computer so no more betting can take place after the race is underway.
The race starts at the actual start line. It's in the hands of the judges. I have nothing to do with that. In the judges' stand here, we're watching to make sure a horse gets a fair start. There are certain fair start regulations that are laid down by the federal government. Fair start rules are called. And if there's any infractions of these rules, we order refunds on those particular horses, such as a horse scores ahead of the starting gate, if a horse falls before the word go is given, or is interfered with by another horse. We can call down to the parimutuel, and they will take that money bet on that horse out of that particular pool for the race. We're also up here to watch when a photo comes down from the projection booth upstairs to make sure that, again, the eyes and ears of the public, to make sure that what the judges are seeing is what the public's going to see when it goes downstairs.
There's another aspect of racing the Department of Agriculture is involved in. After each race, the winning horse heads to the paddock for drug testing. Samples are sent to a lab in Quebec, and if drugs are found in the horse's system, heavy fines are levied.
The judge orders after a race the winner go in for a test, and 1 or perhaps 2 other horses. There are representatives of the Department of Agriculture over there, test inspectors who take samples, and they are sealed and sent to a laboratory in Quebec and tested. And if there are results that come back that shouldn't be, then the judges handle it from there. There are certain fines that are imposed.
There's one other person in the judges' booth that you haven't met yet, the official timer. For the last 30 years, David Hoadley's been clocking the horses around the track, Computers have come into play now. They work by electronic beams on the racetrack. The first horse that goes through the beam starts the timer, but still things can go wrong. And when the computer breaks down, the official timer overrules the computer.
Well, if the computer fails, this is the backup watch. Sometimes we have a failure with the computer. If a bird or something flies through the beam and stops it from working, sometimes on a foggy night, the computer won't work. The beams are broken by the fog.
So that's your tour of the judges' booth. They're an important link in the running of races. I'm Colleen Jones for At the Track.
Everyone in harness racing has their own favorites, whether it's the pacers or for their awesome speed, or the trotters and their peculiar gait. Myself, I'm a trotting man, and I just love to see the trotters go. This week, we're going to look at a true world champion in a trotter, and a horse you'll hear much more of in the years to come. By the name of Prakas, here's his story.
Over the 145 years during which records have been kept for trotters, none has ever gone faster than Prakas, runaway winner in the voting as top 3-year-old colt trotter and as Trotter of the Year. Prakas began to show his championship form during July, winning 3 straight to make him the hot horse heading into the $1.2 million Hambletonian. There were others, though, in the field who seemed poised to give Prakas all he wanted. Mark 6, the winner of the Yonkers Trot, who beat the favorite in the Canadian Trotting Derby, and Master Willie, winner of 5 straight stakes to start his campaign, were 2 with the kind of credentials that help win classics.
Chip to the outside.
And upsets seemed to be the order of the day when veteran Howard Beisinger drove Torway to victory in the first division.
Mark 6 is out after him now. On the far outside, it's Workaholic closing in. For the final 1/8 of a mile, it's Mark 6 on the outside taking the lead. Master Willie trying to stay with him. Workaholic right there third. Torway trying to move through in between horses. Mark 6. Here comes Torway with the late move. Howard Beisinger and Torway have won it and upset in the first division of the first heat.
In the second division, however, there were no upsets as Prakas continued his winning ways.
At the top of the stretch, it's Prakas leading the way. And Blackbait right there second on the outside. Ron B. Hanover is third. They're in the final 8th. And Prakas is moving smoothly with a 2.5 length lead as they come to the final 16th. Bill O'Donnell just a tap or 2 from the whip, and it's going to be Prakas. He's going to win this easily.
Prakas' win was only 1/5 of a second off the Hambletonian record, a mark that would last only long enough for the field to cool out between heats.
Ron B. Hanover is trying to stay with them, but Prakas is turning it on. Prakas pouring it on inside the final 8th. Bill O'Donnell goes to the whip. Prakas leads by 2.5 lengths. Ron B. Hanover takes to the inside. Blackbait is third. Figbar is fourth. Coming to the finish. Prakas is drifting out, but he's going to win it. Prakas is going to win the 1985 Hambletonian, and he has done it in record time.
To his Hambletonian win, in a stakes record 154 3/5, Prakas would add the World Trotting Derby and the Breeders' Crown. In winning the Derby at DuQuoin, his 153 2/5 victory was the fastest mile ever by a trotter. His $1.6 million in winnings was also a single season best on the trotting gate. Per Eriksson, at 24, the youngest ever to train a Hambo winner, wasn't even sure about what changed Prakas from an early season also-ran into a mid-year world champion.
Oh, he needs maybe a couple of races to get tight to start with in the early this year, and after that, I don't know, he was so good, so nobody can touch him.
Breton, like in other parts of the Maritimes, is very much an integral part of the sporting scene. Formerly known as the Cape Breton Sports Center and now known as Tartan Downs, this compact operation has been one of the most professional in the Maritimes for many years. This week at the track, and Greg Boone take a tour of Tartan Downs, show you the ins and outs of the plant.
The track here in Sydney has been a strong part of Cape Breton's harness racing industry for years. There have been different names and managers, but one thing has remained constant: the horses and men and women who race them.
And like most harness operations, the participants who support the effort here at Tartan Downs are involved anywhere from the hobby to serious business level.
Trapper McQuarrie has been around horses for 16 years and races a stable of 9 out of Sydney.
Well, I came down here, it's going on 2 years ago now from Inverness. I wasn't making too much money around there, and I wanted to do it for a living, you know, keep at it and stuff like that. Opportunities to go other places and stuff, but I'd like to stay around home, you know what I mean. It's a living, so.
Morning, Fred. How's the horse? Good, Tom. Huh? Good. I'm good. Freddie? Huh? 3-year-old we got going here. They held Bunny. Roslyn. Forrest owns her. Yeah. It's training real good. Hope we'll have some luck with her this summer.
The man in the light jacket is Roger Bomber Garib, manager of Tartan Downs since he and a group of businessmen took over in August 1984. Garib feels communication and a strong relationship with horsemen is important.
We've had meetings now with the horsemen. We're a little closer to them every couple weeks. And now they have a new president and with Eddie Steger. And our door's open to the horsemen, and hopefully that we can, everybody pull together instead of years by where everybody was pulling apart. And so it looks a lot better with horsemen and management now.
Don't line me up, old buddy. Well, I don't need to be kicked today. Huh? Well, you're feeling something good, all this excitement. Huh?
Sunshine, that's all he needs.
That's all everybody needs, really.
We changed quite a few things around last year, and we've added a new surface to our track last September. We've added new poles, new lighting system, heat to our grandstand, new machinery, fixed the barn area, fences, just a general cleanup of Tartan Downs.
The daily track activity here is like most others. Horses are prepared for racing. And when race night arrives at Tartan Downs, the excitement grows. Wavor set the 1:59.4 track record here in 1984. And although those type of times are not common every night, there is still good racing. That means 3 nights a week this summer, with 6 divisions of the Atlantic Sire Stakes, Olin's Invitational, the J.A. Ferguson, Pepsi-Cola Challenge, Action Cup 2, and many more. This is part of Tartan Downs' Microtote parimutuel wagering system. In 1985, bettors wagered over $5 million. There were 124 race days and 1,366 races. The facility also includes a heated grandstand and the tack room, a licensed dining area with a view of the track and close access to betting. In 1985, attendance was over 43,000, and at all levels, they're here to enjoy the racing. This summer, it's Monday, Thursday, and Saturday at Tartan Downs. I'm Greg Boone for At the Track.
Time now to take a look at harness racing action around the Maritimes last week. We'll start at Summerside Raceway. It was Volvic 205-3. Over to Tartan Downs in Sydney. The winner, Harborview Charger 206-1. Fredericton opened its season on Monday. P.H. Phil, a big mile, a new record, 2 minutes and 3/5, with Mike Campbell getting 3 winners on that card. Down to Truro, where it was Projac, 204-4. Sackville Downs, the Coca-Cola Classic Elimination Legs. Kilkerran Direct, 2-4-1. Wave to Horton, 2-3-2. And Kilkerran Demon, 2-0-3-3. At Champlain Raceway, the June Bird Eliminations. Freedom Gold in 2-0-3 and P.H. LaRue in 2-0-3-1. at Exhibition Park Raceway, the final preliminary in the Labatt Blue Crown Series. Gemini Risk, his second win, 2:04, and Wally Hennessy had a big week, 7 winners in total. At Charlottetown Driving Park, Guaranteed Chance, fastest mile in Prince Edward Island, 2:01 and 2. Well, we're always mentioning the drivers and the horses in our recap, but there's one area that's worthy of note, and we'll be keeping you abreast in this area for the balance of our program as far as the series goes. Those are the payoff returns, and there are some dandies. Highlights at the Mutuals, Exhibition Park, $5,882 Triactor. At Champlain Raceway, Triactor $1,575. Charlottetown Driving Park, Triactor $1,800. Tartan Downs, Triactor $1,770. At Sackville Downs, an $1,874 Triactor. And at Truro Raceway, another big one, this Triactor returning $1,724.10. And all of those are for just $2, and you only have to pick 3 out of 8. Our glossary this week deals with one of the most popular forms of wagering in the Maritimes. Here's this week's quiz. You must correctly select the horses to finish first, second, and third in that exact order in one race. What is the question? What is a Triactor? Big money time in the Maritimes Friday at Sackville Downs, the $10,400 final of the Coca-Cola Classic. Over at St. John on Saturday, that's the R.M. Lawson Memorial for 4-year-olds. They'll go for a purse close to $8,000. And a change in schedule in Truro Raceway will now be racing on Thursdays and Sundays.
Grove Triton motoring outside. He's now the leader as they arrive at the opening quarter. Maple Grove Triton to the top. Prairie Granite Racing second, Utah's Elsie third, fourth is Deanne's Girl, All-Time Robbie in 5, your trailer J.T. Janet. On to the 3/8 they go, Maple Grove Triton with the lead up front, 29 and 1 by the opening quarter. Prairie Granite Racing second, Utah's Elsie third. Off the 3/8 turn they come racing through the stretch for the first time to the half. It's Maple Grove Triton with the lead up front. He takes them past the half-mile mark. Second is Prairie Granite. Third, Utah's Elsie. Here comes Old-Time Robbie up on the outside in 4. Deanne's Girl, J.T. Janet on the move from the back. They race into the turn, going to the 5/8 after a half of 1:02. Maple Grove Triton still on top. Prairie Granite second, Old-Time Robbie driving up on the outside third. They're racing down the backstretch, going to the 3/4. Maple Grove Triton, Old-Timer Robbie quickly up on the outside to challenge the leader as they race on by the 3/4. It's Maple Grove Triton, Old-Time Robbie driving up and at him on the outside. Prairie Granite at the rail third, J.T. Janet outside in 4. They have an 1/8 of a mile left to go. Maple Grove Triton still on top. 1:33 and 1 by the 3/4. Maple Grove Triton, Old-Time Robbie, here comes J.T. Janet on the outside. Maple Grove Triton, Old-Time Robbie, 3 of them right across the track. It's gonna be Old-Time Robbie. It's awfully close for second and third.
The winner of tonight's feature race at the CDP was Old-Time Robbie in a time of 2:04 and 2, driven by Ronnie Gass of Cornwall, Prince Edward Island. Ron, it was a fast track tonight. Did you know you had the race when you pulled out at the halfway mark?
Not really, but like starting up the backstretch, I was pretty sure I could beat the horse that was on the front. Boyd McDonald had the best horse in the 2-hole looking to get out, so I had to keep him in and leave it late in the stretch to get up by the other horse.
A bit of strategy out there.
A little, probably.
It wasn't a fast time, though, for a fast track, was it?
Not really, considering where the cheap horses were going. So.
Old-Time Robbie is a fairly old horse at 8 years old, and a lot of starts this year, 26 starts, I'm told, so far this year. Do you think that affects him at all?
No, he races a lot every year. I think he had 55 starts last year, something like that. So.
He's a consistently good performer, too, isn't he?
Yeah, better class horse.
He hasn't been racing for a little while?
2 weeks or something, I think. Raced in Halifax last start. He won 5 and 3. So.
You were kind of watching him tonight, I would think, to see how he'd do.
I wasn't sure just how sharp he'd be, but it seems like he always beats the horse he moves on. So one in front, I didn't think he'd be that tight either.
Old Time Robbie's been running in Nova Scotia. Will he be on the island all summer now, or do the owners plan to move him around a bit?
I imagine he'll be around for most of the summer, and then he'll move on someplace else in the fall.
How much do you think he's got left in him at 8 years old?
Well, he'll likely go back to 2-1 this year.
Well, congratulations again, Ron.
Thank you.
I'm Dan Vio at the track.
On a sad note in maritime harness racing, one of the true pioneers of the sport passed away last week. Bob Dewar, the general manager of Summerside Raceway. To his friends and family, sympathies from all of us involved with At the Track. On a positive note, big bucks coming around in maritime harness racing, the Rothman Sires Stakes. The purses were announced, and they are dandies. At St. John's Exhibition Park, 2- and 3-year-old pacing colts and fillies chase after a total of $150,000. The trotters 2-year-olds go at Champlain Raceway. They'll be going for $11,000, and the 3-year-old trotters at Truro Raceway for a purse of $8,000. Well, that's another week of At the Track. Next week, another interesting show. We'll talk to veterinarian Dr. Ian Moore of Winslow, Prince Edward Island about standard breds. We'll also speak with Jack Ferguson of the Atlantic Sire Series about the stakes program coming up. I'm Howie Trainer. See you next week.